on my arm. I'll always keep you safe from harm. I want you to be my bride and sing, sing, sing along while I'm walking. Here, here, here's your love, girl. Here, here, here's your love. Well, you're gonna go somewhere. I've got a lot to love to give. I've got a kiss for your name on.
A very good morning and welcome to Prague and the Whitewater Centre, where, as you can see, the 2020 European Canoe Slalom Championships. I'm David Goldstrom. Welcome. It's great to have you aboard for this championship, which was originally staged or set for the Lee Valley in London, cancelled, but now relocated to Prague. And hats off to the organisers, and in particular Stanislav Jezek and his team, for bringing the sport alive for Europe's best paddlers. A real opportunity for them to compete at the highest level, and so important. Many of them have had such a problem to prepare and train. It's not been easy, but we look forward now to the first of our individual categories, the women's canoe, with 20 having qualified from the heats yesterday. And in the heats, well, it was a fastest time that came up from Teresa Fizarova. There's the menu for the day: the semi-finals and the finals, followed by the team finals in the two categories, women's canoe and men's kayak. And when you look at the Prague course, well, to some it may be easy, but there are the facts and figures. The drop from start to finish, 3.5 meters, 19 downstream and 6 upstream gates, and this is how it starts. You come out of this start gate and it's a really long sprint. We're talking about 30 meters to the first of 3 green and white downstream gates, staggered, before you come to the breakout to gate number 4, the first of the upstreams. Then another stagger pattern through 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then 9, and then using the stopper to get across to 10, 11 and 12 and 13, 14, another group of stagger gates to this tricky double upstream. 17 and 18 offset, and you need to be tight here to 20 under the bridge and coming towards the finish, where of course fatigue sets in, the lactic builds up, and then you can see through 24, 25, again a long flat water sprint to the finish. And that's the task and challenge set by Jiří Preškovič, the dad of the Czech Republic's favourite paddler, a very good achiever, as well as Anne Boixel from France, the two course designers. So we have in the semi-final 20, and Teresa Fizarova, the last to go, having had the best time, a clean run in 116.49 seconds for the women's canoe. It's warmed up a little bit. We're expecting around 21 Celsius in the middle of the day, and as ever, this is a real test. A lot of people look at this, as I mentioned a moment ago, as being a course where it's pretty straightforward to do well. Well, it's a lot harder than that, particularly to win. Just warming up on the upper waters of the River Vltava. And there is Lena Tonissen of the Netherlands, one of 20 countries. Fantastic turnout given the circumstances. And now paddles off in this sprint. Really need to build speed here as she comes through to the first of these 3 downstream gates. And has a problem, actually. Misses. Oh, no, that's very, very difficult. I doubt that she's going to get a clean run there. May well get a 50 for missing that gate, and in real trouble here. And this is going to be a very long journey as she tries to get round. She was conscious that she missed the gate, and she's got upstream to do it, but lost an eternity in time. Once again, on this upstream gate, you can see the power of the water, and not able, the water is controlling her rather than the water being dominated. Now into another pattern of downstreams, reverse to go through 6, and another touch there. So she's had touches at 2, 7, 10. There's 1 or 2 other gates which the judges are looking at the moment. And buried in the stopper there as she comes to the upstream, catches the pole. 2 seconds, the penalty for any touch by body, boat or blade. And as you can see, really struggling on this course. Very much an outsider, but it's an education, and that's important. And it's good to see a Dutch paddler on the course. The field would be even tougher if we had the full complement of countries. There are some notable absentees for very genuine reasons as she goes through 17 and 18, 19, coming down to another upstream gate here, 20, the final one of the upstream examinations. And now this, as you'll see in a moment, as she comes down towards the finish, where she's got this long flat water sprint to get across the line. 22. Germany, Great Britain not represented here. More about that in a moment as she crosses the line in a, well, you can see 179.76, including those 8 penalties at the moment. So already on the course now. This is Klaudia Swolinska of Poland. Klaudia, silver medal some 5 years ago in the women's kayak in the European team competitions. Gate 11 for Swolinska. She's had a touch, you can see, or 2 in fact, 6 and 11. Swolinska, just 21, but a young group of paddlers. We do have some senior citizens, so to speak, some great achievers, but again, good to see Poland here. I mentioned Germany not being with us today. That's because most of their athletes are supported by either the German army or the German police, and according to their regulations, they're not allowed to go into particular risk areas, and that's what they were regarded. Great Britain and Slovakia not here because they've decided not to compete in the 2020 season. And the Russians, unfortunately, not with us. They had real problems trying to overcome the travel restrictions, so they're also not in the lineup. But as I said, 20 countries, that's pretty healthy under the circumstances. And the organisers have gone to a great deal of effort here to make sure that everything is safe. Social distancing, masks. And there you can see the strength of this water here. So, wearing bib number 8, Alja Kozarog for Slovenia. Coming down through this first couple of gates here, then offset again onto the right-hand side of the river to the first of the upstreams, and she's got the wrong side, so she's going to have to paddle round. She touches with the shoulder, so that's the first penalty. Runner-up 2-3 years ago in the under-23 C1 Team World Championships. So still challenge for her. Swalinska, you can see 49.96. That's her first split time. And Kozarog, the Slovenians who've done pretty well. They've had a European Open Cup and a national championship in August, so they've tried to provide competitions to give the paddlers some opportunity to try and achieve a good level of fitness, but it hasn't been easy. And just to remind you, that clean run in the heats yesterday, which was on a different course, 116.49 seconds. And there's the second split time, and you can see she's an eternity over, having missed gate number 6 and an Eskimo roll and a touch as well. And of course, from the 20 starters, only the best 10 will go through to this afternoon's final at 12:15 Central European time. We start. But they are ranked according to their performances in yesterday's heats. '21. And already the next paddler on her way. This just shows you, even at this early stage, just how tough this course is. Just a reminder, set by Yuri Preškovec, the dad of the Czech paddler, who we'll be seeing later, the Rio Olympic bronze medalist. And this is Lucie Priaulx for France. Priaulx, I should say. Runner-up last year in the under-23 World Championships, just 23 years of age. And the French and the Czechs noticeably amongst the strongest of the juniors, and sets a new split time, as you saw there in the green. And gets a touch there as well. So gate 12 at the moment, the only touch that's been shown. '15, not bad. That double upstream, not easy. You can see how the exit of one gate determines the entry to the next one. Sits back, takes the drop, low on this gate, and there, precious seconds, not even fractions, but a couple of seconds given away. So penalties on 12 and 18 for Lucie, but she is going to go into the lead. 116 seconds, to remind you, that fastest time in the heats. Outside that, but decent strength showing towards the finish as she comes to the finish line. And 127.84 for Lucie Priaulx. Gets jumbled up at gate 12. Next to go, this is Leah Novak, representing Slovenia, junior world and under-23 medalist. So nicely through one. You can see that's tricky to get across to two cleanly. But so far so good. Good opening there. Now breaking out but getting held by the stopper, but she's reasonably tight to gate 4. So not a bad start. Just gymnastically gets under there, but a touch on 7. So coming up to the split time. And 6 seconds. Well, 2 of those made up by the touch on gate 7. But keeping the canoe moving now. Now, just as I say that, loses her control and moved by the water right into the side and has to work really hard to get through to take the first of these 2 upstreams, 15 and 16, and as a result that extra touch there. Lucy Priou's overall time 1:27.84 for France, leading, but 20 seconds over the time at the moment. Just a little movement in the gates. The wind was really quiet early on. It still is, really. So just the 2 touches at the moment. Now has to use all the rest of her energy to come through here, and puts herself into 3rd place behind Smolinska, behind Priou of France. Katja Bengari of Croatia. Good to see a Croatian making it into the semi-finals. Ranko Lovric, the General Secretary of the European Canoe Association here, to watch his paddler who goes low here on gate 4. Bengari, winner of the 2018 Junior Canadian Singles European Cup and runner-up in the kayak in that same competition. So a little bit of promise, but again, expectations realistic. They were not thinking that she would make the final, but as I said, testing course, and now the penalties racking up here. Missing a gate by not getting your head and part of your body in the boat through the gate gives the judges little alternative but to award the 50. As you can see, some spectators on the left there, socially distanced. These are what you might call VIPs who've been invited. General public not allowed to come in, so it's an invitation audience, but it's nice to have some atmosphere here. You can see the spacing of the spectators as she goes through, Katja through gate 18 now. Touch on 18, indeed, and 19 through there. No touch there on 19. Really nice picture, shows you the power of this water. The lower section of the course has been remodeled, and that is new for this season. They still have ambitions to build the new course in this area as Katja Bengari, Croatia, finishes, and down in 5th place at the moment. So Julia Schmidt representing Hungary, but for a lot of her career, most of her career, she was paddling for Austria from 2004 to 2015. In her early 30s now, really good servant to the Austrians, now for, as I say, the Hungarians, but not an auspicious start. Bronze medal back in 2015 in the Canadian Singles World Team Championships. So she's definitely had her moments, but moved to Hungary to give her a chance to compete internationally, as she was not able to keep up the pace with the other Austrian women coming through. Just the 2 touches at the moment from Julia. So 14 seconds, the deficit. Chasing Lucie Priou of France, who had 2 touches. 1:27.84 is the time to beat to go into the lead. Outside that now, but 1:39 to beat to go into second place. You can see the fatigue coming on, the lactate burning up now as she comes towards the line. She's outside. Second, third place is where she settles for the moment. Ainhoa Lamero for Spain, runner-up last season in the Canadian Singles World Championships on Spanish water in La Seu d'Urgell. Spanish with a strengthening team. Good to see them here. Quite a long journey for them to get across to Prague. A touch on 6. Ten seconds, that's quite a bit to pull out or pull back on Lucie Priou of France, who continues to have the advantage. 8th paddler, 8th of the 20 in this semi-final. This is a course where you really have to manage your energy. Very, very easy to be virtually empty as you come into the last phase. Well, she was 10 down. That was at a gate 11. Now she's doubled the deficit, so to speak. 21 seconds off the current leader. Again, losing time on that upstream. Nicely taken through the downstream. That was better. Not making time, but not losing it through that little pattern there, which was good. Driving for the finish line now, and Lamero goes into 4th place. Well, at the moment, technically, that could qualify. Miran Lascano, real promising talent, this Spanish paddler, 2017 under-23 champion. Only 23 years of age now, and plenty to look forward to. Hails from San Sebastian. And a bronze medal a couple of seasons ago in the European Championship team event. Just under 10 seconds the deficit at the first split. So, still well down on Lucy Priou. And hasn't gained anything, but hasn't lost much either. So, a much better middle section here. I just wonder whether she can pull a fraction of a second back here. Every chance of going into second place at the moment. Nice reverse. Well, I was going to say nice reverse, but caught that. So that's her first penalty. Conscious of trying to get to that finish line. You could see that picture momentarily from behind. As she drives for the finish now. You can see how long a sprint it is with those last two downstream gates. 1:35.70. So goes into second place ahead of Klaudia Zwolinska, Julia Schmidt in fourth place, Leah Novak in fifth. Next down, it's France's Claire Jacquet. So France leading, France challenging. Claire, another former European team silver medalist for her country. More experience than quite a lot of the paddlers. She has actually won a World Cup in her time, not in the Czech Republic, but in Slovakia. In Bratislava last season, she won the World Cup there, that particular race. So 3 seconds to find, and of course 2 seconds of that deficit made up from that one touch on gate 9. Nice and reasonably tight there to gate number 5. Second split. Now you can see the deficit increasing here. 6 seconds, so it's doubled. Can she eat into that and try to recapture a few of those lost fractions on this section? Did that quite well, got quite tight, kept the canoe working, and has to move right across to the other side of the course. And you can see the intensity of the work here, having to switch blades through those double downstream gates, and 1:28.81, and France now first and second. Lucy Priou ahead of her teammate Claire Jacquet, and the difference between them 0.97 of a second. Slightly cleaner run with just one touch to Claire, but Lucy the faster of the athletes. So that's the situation with 10 of the 20 having started. So at the moment, nobody's definitely qualified because there are 10 more to come and only 10 to go into the final. Now this is Alexandra Stach for Poland. Micozzi for the Italians. Keep an eye on her. So in the gate now, this is Alexandra Stach. Mixed C2 world champion, I should say, a couple of seasons ago, and achieved that with her coach, Marcin Pochwala, and also got a silver medal last season in the mixed C2 world. So now all on her own, and not a great start. Touches on 2 and 7. I think there's a touch. No, sorry, what am I talking about? Just the 2 penalty on gate number 2. And 7 it is that's got a touch. So more than 15 seconds off the pace here. Struggles through and has missed 18. Now this is going to really sap her energy, having to drive upstream and come all the way round for a second attempt. Nice little bit of support from the spectators who are with us. But the water noise here is pretty strong, so I doubt she'll be picking that up. It's not the sort of raucous support that we would normally expect at Prague at the Whitewater Centre here. And way out now, she's outside the top 5 or 6, so this is not going to qualify her. Too many issues down the course, particularly having to go back to gate 18, and that leaves her in a lowly 7th place at the moment. Now Elena Micozzi will be next, and you can see her at gate number 2, and there's a touch. Elena, only 17, one of the youngest on the water this morning. But the Italian team building. The Junior World team champion last season. So, at the moment, not a clean run. Mind you, there weren't that many clean runs yesterday in the heats in the women's canoe. Marta Bertoncelli of Italy and Teresa Fisarova of the Czech Republic were the only 2 clean runs in the heat. Was 12 seconds down at gate 11, and that's expanded, doubled to 22 seconds, and clean through 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. Not bad. So this has been a better phase for her on this lower part of the course. Again, you can see outside 140 and Elena Mikotsi down into 7th place. So Lucy Priou, Claire Jacquet are the first two to be definitely through to this afternoon's final. On course now for Slovenia, Eva Alina Hocheva. 2018 was her year when she won the Junior Kayak World Championship title. Comes from a great family of paddlers. And they were all pretty well versed in not only slalom but also wild water. A lot of them racing wild water in the early part of their careers. So gate 12 negotiated. Touch there on 14, the double upstream now 15 across to 16. It's not an easy move there, but she's quite tight to that gate. Within 10 seconds of Lucy Priou, but now there's the seconds, and she's not the first paddler to run into trouble there at gate 18. That's a real pity because she'd done quite well in the preceding section and just gave those gains away. Still within about 10 seconds of the leader. Last gates. And you can see the upper body just moving there, just gives you indication of the fatigue, but goes into 3rd place and qualifies for the final. So she's through, Priou, Jacquet, Hocheva, and the one athlete who's waiting in 4th place at the moment for somebody to mess up is Miran Lazcano for Spain. Lucy Baudou, 3 French paddlers and all 3 into the semi-finals. And Lucy, gold medalist in last year's European Championships with the French team in Pau in lovely weather conditions. And you can see the weather is brightening now. It's forecast for sunshine and a temperature around the 20 Celsius mark for midday. Lucy looking to give France 3 representatives in the final. Internationally been paddling for about 9 years now. Clean so far, so could this be the first clean run? Well, 15 and 16, still a long way to go. Part of the French team who were world kayak champions in 2018 in La Seyre d'Urgell. And just catch, that's the first penalty. 22, 25 gates in all, and that's a real pity. But looks as if she can hold this together. Oh, another touch on 24, the penultimate gate. So is this going to be good enough to qualify? 140.57. And Lucy Baudou goes into 6th place, which means that Miren Lazcano of Spain has now qualified. Marta Bertoncelli, Italy. 3rd last year in the Junior Worlds. So far, so good. Opening phase. Just offline there a little bit, which would have cost a precious fraction. Priou still with that advantage, but this is as close as anybody's been to the current leader's time. But she lost control going through the upstream gate there. And a 50 given to her on gate number 9. Like to see that again, but that 50 will of course rule her out of qualifying. That's a real pity. Hopefully we can see that on the replay once she gets down. Her running time, if you take the 50 out of that, is actually not too bad. She'd only be 4 or 5 seconds down, and that would be putting her into a qualifying place. So that 50 has really done for her. But it might be looked at by the chief judge. That was also quite tight. Just that one blemish at the moment, and it's always hard to take when you've lost your chance of qualifying because of that one error, a big error though it is. And you can see that that puts her down into 12th place. There's an asterisk by her name, so it'll be reviewed, but the gate we need to see is gate number 9 rather than this particular replay. So five to go, and that's the situation. So Lucy Priou, Claire Jacquet, Eva Elina Hocheva, Miren Lazcano and Claudia Swolinska have all qualified. But now we come to the 5 who produced the best results in the heats, which is why they're going last according to the times. And next out onto the water, Gabriela Satkova for the Czech Republic, and they've got 3 Czech paddlers in the top 5 from yesterday. 2, Teresa Fisarova, who'll be going last, but this is Gabriela Satkova, an Olympic team silver. In fact, world team silver in 2018. Now Satkova. Well, a lot of pace in her run at the moment. Of course, this is home water, so inevitably the knowledge that she has from this particular track will be in her favor, as it was yesterday from the heats. Just 2 seconds down on Lucy Priou, but there's a time loss and a touch at 11. So all of a sudden, the good work at the top has been put to one side. Overall, I think she'll have lost about 7 or 8 seconds to Lucy Priou, but still a chance to get into the final, but can't really afford to make any more mistakes. 17 tricky across to 18 and makes that, but the boat wasn't flowing as fluently as you would like, but nice and tight there. That really helps. So 9 seconds over. Just about give her a chance at the moment to qualify. So she's got to nail the rest of this course. Not much of it left. There's 24. And 5. And has she done enough? And indeed she has, and made up time. And Gabriela Satkova goes into 3rd place overall, and at the end of it, only 1.51 seconds behind Lucy Priou. So that was a really good effort, particularly at the bottom section of the course. Representing the Ukraine, Victoria Us was on the podium in Tatsan last year in the World Cup event there. The Russians, as I said, didn't manage to make a really long way around, but kept the canoe working through there, so that actually wasn't too bad, apart from the touch on the gate. Right in the eddy there, tight to the bank. Needs to find some pace, does Victoria. On the clock, she's well down. And it's going to be tight for her to qualify from here on in, but we've seen that it's possible to make time on the lower part of the course, particularly that final sprint section, if you've got the petrol in the tank when it matters. .12 seconds. That's the deficit. Now that would not be good enough at the moment. She needs to find something. Needs to find at least a couple of seconds. Not easy. These have to be millimeter perfect, and you can see the canoe sideways there, catches the gate, and that, I'm afraid, is going to do for her in terms of qualifying. Really disappointing. Would have been nice to have a Ukrainian in the final, but I think the opportunity is gone. She would have needed to be inside 140, and as you can see, down in 8th place. So the second of the Czechs, it's Teresa Kneblova, runner-up in the Junior Worlds last year, only 17, and this is great to see from the Czechs. Really, for so many years, they relied, particularly in the women's kayak, on the likes of Stepanka Hilgertova, but of course, another Hilgertova is the now reigning European champion in women's kayak. That you'll see tomorrow, the defending champion. And an early touch on 5 does not bode well. But as we saw with her teammate Satkova, well capable of finding pace and finding speed, needs to try to keep as clean as she can, even at this stage, gate 14, about halfway down the course. And now this double upstream, 15 breakout, come round there, move the canoe. Now it's across the water to 16. Really hard, comes out of that to more downstream offset gates. 17 to 18 has proved testing, but that was okay, nicely done. 19 right in the middle for the drop and breakout to gate number 20, clean through there. So just this one touch, and the Czech horns, their own version of the vuvuzela, now beginning to encouraging this Teresa to make it into the finals. So 118, 119, 127.73. And that is the leading time. So just that one error, but she goes ahead of Lucie Priou of France. And it's Czech Republic, France in second and third places. And all three French paddlers through. And now for Austria, Nadine Vrachnik, third in last year's World Championships in La Seo de Guel. Nadine never won a World Cup. She's been third on a couple of occasions. Clean so far. Safely through the two upstreams. Well, I was predicting that, but she has in fact negotiated 16 well. 17, 17 touch there. Still okay. Very tight to the current leader. This is a good run by the Austrian. Really nicely done there across the stopper. And that's a really good section by her. Just that one touch on 17. This is challenging as she comes down towards the finish line. 127.73, 126.92 by just over 3/4 of a second. Austria take command and go into first place. No clean runs at the moment, but just one athlete to come. And it's the fastest from the heats on this new course for the semi-finals. And it's 22-year-old Teresa Fisarova, runner-up 2-3 years ago in both the World and European Championships. So she's been knocking on the door for a gold medal success. Slightly deceptive. You can see the canoe moving. Comes to 4. Nicely through there, clean. 5 and 6. Just a little offline at 7 and a touch. And that's, as you can see, still puts her in a decent position. As I said, deceptive her paddling speed. So a couple of seconds in hand. It would have been 4 seconds in hand apart from that touch. Now breaks out to 15. real good anticipation as she comes across to 16. Just held a touch there, but she's building all the time here. This is by far, so far, the best run, and looks as if she could well go into the lead. Still, though, some gates to go. She comes to 20. One more upstream to come. Needs to be tight here. This looks very promising for Teresa Fisarova. Her teammate Kneblova in the lead, but for not much longer, I don't think, here. And Fisarova comes down and takes the lead with 3.26 seconds. She didn't make much more time, but she has taken the lead. The Czech Republic, Fisarova ahead of Kneblova. They qualify. Priou and Jacquet for France. Nadine Varashnik for Austria through, with Gabriela Sarkova for the Czech Republic. So 3 French and 3 Czech boats are through to this afternoon's final. Milen Lascano has qualified, as well as Klaudia Zwolinska for Poland, and Lucy Badu for France is the last of the qualifiers. There you can see the letter Q, indicating, alongside the penalties, not a clean run by any of the 20. But this is very much a French and Czech competition, and these are the young women who failed to qualify. And you can see the closest was Victoria Us, and she missed out by 1.1 seconds approximately for the Ukraine.
How was the course, and how satisfied are you that you win after the qualification also the semi-final run?
I think that the course is so hard. For me, it's super, because I very like the hard course. And it's in Troya, it's a beautiful course, and I'm happy to race this.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the first place in semi-final.
Thank you very much.
So Fisarova will be last to go in the final, because the 10 who've qualified will go in reverse order. And that will be at 12:15 Central European time today, with the women's canoe final. So the Czech Republic, France, Austria, Slovenia. I should have mentioned that Eva Elina Hocheva also qualified to go into the final, but there was quite a lot of carnage on what Teresa Fisarova said herself was a pretty hard course. And remember, they've not had competitions plenty this season, and that's made it even harder. But the Czechs and the French most favoured to do well this afternoon, but you just never know. The course for the finals is exactly the same as the course they've raced over this morning, and momentarily we'll be moving forward to the men's kayak. The men's kayak, which in the semi-finals has 30 qualifiers, which will be cut down to 15 for their final. Last year, the women's Canadian singles was won by Britain's Mallory Franklin. Unfortunately, the British, like the Slovaks, made a decision not to compete for the rest of 2020. COVID-19 has really disrupted everybody's life, really, and we have to respect their decision, but we miss them. Teresa Fisarova, who was 4th last year, Lucy Baudou 5th last year, Nadine Vrashnik was in the final also last year, and we'll be seeing them later on. But now we turn our attention to the men's kayak semi-finals, and it'll be an Irishman who gets us underway in this most competitive category. And last year in Po, as you have a reminder there of the course and the penalties, it was Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic who won the title from Dariusz Popiela of Poland, with Quentin Bourgui of France in 3rd place, ahead of Joseph Clark of Great Britain, with David Lorente of Spain completing the... I'm thinking of... the kayak men. Anyway, just a reminder of the course here now. We've seen it with the women, and it's proved testing. What will the men make of it? Now there's 17, and this cross to 18 has caused some problems. Of course, I would remind you, set by Yuri Priškovič and Anne Boixel of the Czech Republic and France, respectively. And just looking at the results from the competition yesterday in the heats, Vit Prindis, the fastest man, a clean run in 91:30. And Martin Dugud of Switzerland, also a clean run in 91:39. And Yuri Priškovič, the son of the course designer for today, 91:46, but he had a 2-second touch. Other than that, he would have been the fastest man on the course. So plenty to look forward to. As I say, the 30 in this semi-final will be cut down to 15. There is Vit Prindis. So, Po 2019, the men's kayak, Vit Prindis, the defending champion, and the temperature warming up all the time. Still some way to go. These the waters of the river Vltava that runs right through the center of Prague, through and under the famous Charles Bridge. And warm-up gates just upstream from the start. Dario Cuesta for Spain. They've created a separate corridor here, so the athletes are separated from the public by a barrier. So the Irish very excited to see Noel Hendrick going through to qualify for these semi-finals. Top 15 in last year's under-23 World Championships. And one of 20 countries represented in this year's Europeans. You need a controlled but aggressive start to make as many seconds as you can through the opening sprints and downstream pattern of gates. Really focused at the moment, and a good kayak start here by him. (15:16). Okay. Manages 18, that's clean. So he's really got the bit between his teeth here. Totally focused right from the get-go here, and this is really encouraging. Well, this is quite an impressive run at the moment. Clean from him. Coming through to the finish, 110.47. Let's put that in perspective. 110 seconds, that is about 19 slower than yesterday's heat winner, Vit Prindis, but nonetheless, Noel Hendrick with just the one touch on gate 21 as Daniel Cuesta starts his attack. Dario, I should say, I beg his pardon, representing Spain. Oh, and in trouble. And time loss is going to be significant here to the Irishman. This is going to be a tough qualification. Look at that, 12 to 13 seconds down, and a touch there as well. So this is not going well. Spain, though, with Juan Crespo in the lineup to come a little later. Just hasn't managed to be as accurate as we would wish in terms of his lines. The water has controlled him. Last of the altitudes. This is a little better. But as you can see, the time ticking away, and unlikely to be good enough to see him into the final. But nonetheless, for the moment, second place as the next man prepares. And there you can see that touch on gate 10 by the blade, and gymnastically avoiding a penalty. This is Max Carlsen already on the way, and already a touch at gate number 6, and representing Sweden, Max. Neither Norway or Finland, or indeed Denmark, have any sort of force in canoe slalom, but it's good to see the Swedes with a building team. Well, first section wasn't bad, but for that one penalty, he would have been very close to Noel Hendrick's split time. But as you can see now, he's not that far away from the Irishman's time. Oh, needs to keep that clean, and gate 20 has found him out there, and 21 as a result of being disrupted through 20, and another one. So it's all happening at the moment. 6 penalties. It also suggests that the fatigue is setting in, and run 16.4, better than Cuesta, but not as good as the Irishman Kendrick. Austria's Matthias Vega to get underway. Runner-up in last year's European Team Championships, which were held in Liptovsky Mikuláš in Slovakia. Five okay. Good on time. 10 now to 11. Little offline and a touch. But he's still the quickest man on the water for the moment, but early days. 18 again. Oof, just gets through there, but that was okay. 19 to 20, still clean. But for the 2-second penalty on 11, that is. This has been a better section, and he's heading for first place for the moment. If he can just hold this together. 24, and the last gate 25 that he has to negotiate, just out to his left there, and did he? I think he caught it on that right-hand pole, left as you look at it, and indeed he did. That's careless. He's gone into the lead for Austria, but what an unnecessary touch on 25. Yeah, you could just see it there as he ducked under. And so next man, this is Igor Svet of the Ukraine. A little bit more experienced at 28 years of age. Canoe in his national colours. And that's only a second and a bit slower than Matthias Vega. Svet, who had 6 penalties in the heats, now has picked up his first penalty on 14, and was that a touch on 15? It's very tight. Just wait to see what the judges said. I think he probably was all right, actually. So 15 and 16. .20, so he's close to Vega. This is possible. Can't afford another touch, though. .24. And this is surely good enough to take the lead. Good last section there. And as you can see, almost, well, just over 1.5 seconds to the good. So Ukraine ahead of Austria and Ireland at the moment. And to come now will be Quentin Bourgui, bronze medalist, the Frenchman, last year in the European Championships in Po. Would expect a strong challenge from the French. Bourgui 28th, 11th in last season's World Championships. And a lot of support for the French team, obviously. Eyes on Paris 2024 and the Olympics. 15, still clean. And now the best part of 10 seconds. Just looking at this, he must be about 10 seconds up. Indeed. .19. I was being a little bit more generous there, but that's very dodgy on gate 20. 50 given to him there, and that of course would blow his chances if it's upheld and not taken away by the chief judge, and it's really blown his time apart here. Have a look at this. And you can see there, take away the 50-second penalty, and he would have been home in 97.64 seconds. As it is, he's in 5th place. And there you can see the head and part of the body in the boat have to be through the gate. And the judges have determined that that was not the case. So disappointing for last season's European bronze medalist. Gabriel da Costa for Belgium. Coming up to his 20th birthday next Friday. Second to the good. Twelve a touch. Still quick. Nice and tight to the double upstream. 17 to 18. Not perfect by any means, loses a fraction there, but you can see overall over half a second up on the current leader, Bourgi. Bourgi leading despite that 50-second penalty, but actually looking at the 50-second penalty, it seems to have been reduced now to a 2-second touch. So Bourgi in the lead, but being challenged by the Belgian da Costa. So the chief judge has reduced that 50 to 2 seconds on replay. So reprise for Bourgi, and into 4th place goes da Costa, 8 seconds behind, just that one touch on gate number 12. Now, Mario Leitner, not as good as we would have expected in the heats, which is why he's going so early. Mario, the under-23 European champion 3 years ago. Sister Lisa, also a slalom competitor. So far, so good. A little bit down on the clock, needs to find a couple of seconds if he can towards the end of the course. Mario Leitner On track. Burgi, the only man inside 100 seconds so far. Oof, 24. Did he make it? No. According to judge, he missed gate number 24. Well, will he get reprieve like Burgi? But at the moment, that has really knocked him out of contention. There's an asterisk, so it's going to be looked at again. You can see how tight it was. So at the moment, he's sitting down in 7th place. Dariusz Popiela now for Poland, of course. Runner-up in the European Championships last season. To Fit Prindis. Good aggressive start by Dariusz. Real good anticipation. Really has this pattern of opening gates imprinted. He's a couple of seconds down, but so far clean as he makes the double upstream, and that's okay at 16. Just lost a bit of momentum though, and time beginning to drift away, as you can see there. 4.25 to find. At the moment, that would be good enough to put him into 2nd place, but a whole bunch of really talented paddlers to come, so he needs to eat some of that deficit up in these last gates. 24 to 25 now. Burgi still the leader. So has he found anything? Remember, he was over 4 seconds down and not much, but still good enough to put the Polish paddler into 2nd place, but notably a clean run. So it's speed that's beaten him, not the gate pattern. So well done to Dariusz, the first clean run. And now representing Switzerland, Dimitri Marx. Now this is a guy who really likes big water. Was the World Under-23 Extreme Champion a couple of seasons ago. So Dariusz won't be intimidated by these waters, although this is a very, very challenging gate pattern set by our 2 course designers from the Czech Republic and France. Not bad on the clock so far. And they've got Martin Duguid to come as well, who's been in good form. 15 whips through 15 across to 16. Keeps the canoe moving nicely. Again, good fast turn. Lost 3 to 4 seconds though. And in fact now, 5 seconds. He was 1.5 seconds down. That was at gate 11, but now having lost that amount of time, could make the top 3, but again can't afford a penalty at this stage, and shouldn't make a penalty either on 24 or 25. Gets through there okay, so 102, 3, 4, and 3rd spot for the Swiss Dimitri Marx. Quentin Burgi of France ahead of Dariusz Popiela, and then Dimitri Marx, and that 50 penalty for Mario Leitner still standing. That's the state of play at the moment, just to keep in mind for the top 15 who will go through to the final. And next to go will be Sweden's representative, Fredrik Wahlen. 10. Getting ready, that's Fabrinet Hadrilak, I should say. And he'll be in the latter part of the semi-finals. Not that far away, but here's the Swede. Swedish Cup champion last year. That was a series of races. And he actually did pretty well. He was twice a winner and once second in the 5-race series in Sweden. So interesting to see how he goes here. Steady start. But you don't really want to be giving away time at the top of the course here. That flat water start, the sprint to gate number 1, really important to find your rhythm early through the gates, and that was dodgy. And gate 10 of 50, and another touch there on 11 as a result of being distracted, really, and all in the blink of an eye, it's gone south for him. And I think that's 50 that might well stand. And again, if you take the 50 seconds off, and his time wouldn't be that quick. And there's another touch as well on 17, and his chance has really evaporated now, even with the 50-second penalty. Were it to be taken away, he'd still be struggling time-wise. You can see that over 100 seconds already, and still this final upstream 23 and 2 final gates, and then this flat water sprint. And there's another touch. So it's, I'm afraid, not been a happy Saturday morning for Fredrik Wahlen of Sweden. Jakob Vega will be next man for Italy. Special moment for Vega a couple of years ago. He was under 23 world champion, Jakob, on his own home water in Ivrea, which incidentally, Ivrea will be the host for the 2021 European Canoe Slalom Championships. Double upstream's not far away. Oof. Now he missed that, surely. 14, 15's okay, but 14, yeah, 50. And that's again done for him. So Quentin Bourgui of France still leading. Took those penalties away, he'd only be about 7 seconds down, which wouldn't be too bad. But the damage, I'm afraid, has been done here by Jakob, but he really is a prospect for the Italians, who are trying to find their new Daniele Momenti, the Olympic champion, former Olympic champion and European champion in his time as well. And Vega, Jakob Vega, down in 10th place. And it's Spain's Juan Crespo to come now. Bronze medalist last year on home water in Liceo de Gel. It really is a happy hunting ground. All of his best results have really come on that particular course. Beautiful course as it is now, all set in a wonderful parkland, one of the most attractive canoe slalom courses. Artificial, yet now looking so natural. And this is not a bad start. Crespo. $14, okay, 15, 16. So far, so good. Needs to find a bit of time. There's a couple of seconds, well, 1.5 seconds down earlier, and that's spread a bit to 5 seconds. But at least challenging for something like a top 3 if he can stay clean. So Crespo. So, John. Pops into 4th place. So now Fabrinek, Khadirak, and this man could easily do some damage. In his early 30s, world champion here in Prague back in 2013. And runner-up in the European Championships in Liptovsky Mikulas in Slovakia back in 2016. He's been a World Cup winner on no less than 6 occasions. That's individual race wins. But the big achievement for him was getting a silver medal in the London Olympics in 2012. So lots of support, as you can hear. The crowd being very good. They're maintaining their social distancing. On their feet, though. Down on the clock, but keeping it clean so far. 18. Tight to that pole, but that's okay, and that's good momentum with the canoe coming down and over the drop there. Still got this last upstream to negotiate, still clean at the moment. Leader's time 99.64, including a 2-second penalty. He's going to be outside that. But the Czech Republic, Hradilek, goes into 2nd place. 4.26 seconds behind Bourgi of France, but that's the 3rd clean run of the morning. Hradilek and Popiela and Dimitri Marks all clean. Away to some purpose now, Antoine Launay of Portugal. A personal best last year in the World Championships, finished 7th, very respectable. Portuguese perhaps better known in the world of canoeing for their sprinters like Fernando Pimenta. But good to see a competitive slalom paddler from that country. Gate 4, though. A 50-second penalty, which the chief judge will have a look at again for sure. And another touch on 11. So but for the 50 again, he would have been very much in touch with the leaders. But as he goes through 16, clear there. Well, this is something of an if-only run, really, for him, if that 50 is maintained. Just the two last gates, the downstream green and whites to go. And the actual run time isn't too bad. Take away that 50, and he's actually got a run time of 1:05. And unfortunately, that penalty has just done for him. That was Majerzyk and for Poland, and this is Antoine Launay, who I was talking about in advance of his run, but here is his run.
This one was quite smooth, and he's 4 seconds behind before he is going to go to first place.
So just to correct things, the 50 on the previous run belonged to Krzysztof Majerzyk for Poland, who's down in 13th place at the moment. Burgi with 4 seconds of penalties through 19. So now eight, 9 seconds down, something like that, I would think. It's not a bad run here, and this is much more promising, and just those 2 touches, and this is quietly impressive. 1:07 now. Without those 2 penalties, that would have been 1:03, and he's gone into 7th place at the moment. Nico Testen now for Slovenia. Nico, runner-up in the European Team Championships last year, and gymnastically avoids a penalty on gate 2 and safe through 4. Couple of seconds down. That's where I think he is at the moment in terms of time. 15:16. Just little bits and pieces of time being lost here. The margins are so tight. So the deficit now will have increased to almost, well, 5.5 seconds, and a touch there, surely. Looked like a touch. No penalty showing at the moment, but clean so far. Nico Testen. Again in this new generation of paddlers, early 20s. Testen. Going to be in the first 5 or 6, or in fact 7th here for him. Another clean run, but 6.19 seconds down on the clock. On his way, Isak Öström of Sweden has the distinction of being the first ever Swedish paddler to compete in an Olympic slalom. That was in Rio in 2016, and also produced a 5th place finish in the Tokyo test event, which of course should have been for this year, but now for next year. So a touch on gate 7. This is better. Still not as quick as the likes of Burgi or Radilek. And the clock will tell its story when it freezes here, and it'll be the time that's at the moment 8.5 down. Well, it's a fair effort. I've got to say that. It's Öström of Sweden will certainly be the best of his country. At the moment, he's in the top 10 in 9th place. And just a pity with that one touch. His run time, 1:05.33. So now for the host nation, Thomas Maslanak, runner-up to Jiří Priškovič, who's yet to come in the 2020 Czech Olympic selection race. How frustrating is that? Because it's Priškovič who essentially has got the qualifying position for Tokyo, but an opportunity to prove something here on home water. Not bad, just an error there again. He's been quite gymnastic through quite a few of these gates, very close to them. But it's a little bit staccato, and that's costing him the fractions. He was down by almost 3 seconds earlier on to Burgi. Probably lost another couple of seconds. We'll know momentarily. 5 seconds down. So that would put him on a sort of 1:04 time. 104 seconds. That would put him into the top 5 if he can stay clean. Oh, and I spoke too soon. 21, 22 touches, and 23 the upstream okay, but suddenly what was going so well has drifted away, and now that 104 possibility is gone. And as he crosses the line, 110, it would have been 106, so he lost momentum as well as 2 touches, and as a result of that, Maslanek actually going into, just checking on that at the moment. .106. The 50 on gate 4, of course, which still is there at the moment, down in 17th place. So Felix Oshmaltz, junior world champion in Bratislava 3 years ago. Austria with their own slalom course in Vienna, which hosted the Europeans back in 2014. The great Helmut Obliger is the chief trainer for the Austrian team, and he won't be too unhappy with the start made by his man. Little ripple of applause to appreciate the work that he's doing. Managed 18 sweetly. He was just behind in the first section of the course. Now he's dropped a little bit, but he's just losing a bit of time, just over 2 seconds, I would say, down, but holding it together, 24-25. Now, can he sprint towards the finish here? Needs to really drive forward here through 25. This is good. This is very good, and goes into second place. Only 0.47 behind the leader, Burgi. And now I can confirm to you that Quentin Burgi and Felix Oshmalts and Vavrinek Hradilek of the Czech Republic, Dariusz Popiela and Dimitri Marks of Switzerland, those 5 have all qualified, as you can see from the letter Q next to the penalties there. So the man who's waiting in the wings, so to speak, for somebody to fall by the wayside is Crespo of Spain. 5.38 seconds down, the Spaniard, and, well, if somebody does hit the woodwork too much, then he might well make the qualification. Maturin Madore will be next man to come, representing France. Runner-up last year in the Under-23 World Championships. Also in the European Team Championships, a gold medal for Madore. Hedekauza of Slovenia will be next out on the water. Madore just held there by that water. And what looked to be a good start, as you can see, time lost there. Momentum. Needs to put that all behind him now and just focus on what's ahead. Try to pull back that deficit. Clean at the moment, but hopefully that's not the commentator's curse. 15, tight to that. That helps. 16 needs to keep moving this boat. Lost a few seconds more now, I reckon. Yep, 6.27 the deficit in the red. But we've seen, both in the women's canoe and now in the men's kayak, it is possible to find time on the bottom section of the course here. Kept the boat moving nicely there, comes round through 24. That's okay. So it's not the quickest, but Madore, well, a 50-second penalty on gate 7 given, and an asterisk will be put by his name, as the chief judge will certainly check that. And of course, at the moment, that's knocked him out of contention. So for the moment, Crespo gets a qualification cue. And now stand by for the legendary Slovenian Hedekauza, Olympic silver medalist in Rio, but so much achiever in this sport. World champion in 2011 and 2017, 2 times a European champion. And prolific successes in World Cup races, but this, of course, is the European Championships. Quick through the opening 10 gates, and so far so good. He's had his fair share of interruptions with shoulder injuries, but he's come back, and he's such a fighter. His appetite is as good as ever. Just a little low on that gate. That gives away a fraction. And that's all important. So this man who won the overall World Cup series on 3 occasions in his career, looking clean, and is clean, and goes into 3rd place and qualifies for the final. That's going to please the Slovenians no end. Good effort there by Peter Kauza. 101.11 his running time, but then 1.47 down. On the leader, still Quentin Burgi. Now, Mateusz Polarczyk, don't write this man off. Just when you think that Poland might not have a chance, this is a man who can bring a surprise to the competition. Won the European Championships in Tacen in Slovenia in 2017. In touch, I would say. A little bit behind, but not much. This is a pretty good run. Challenging. 18, 19, now the drop, sits back to take that and does really nicely on 20. Clean so far. Great shot through 21. This remodeled part of the course, tight to this final upstream, not bad. And just as lost a little speed, the water has sapped his energy. Burgi will still have the advantage for France, but this will qualify surely, and goes into 4th place. The man waiting to qualify at the moment is Portugal's Antoine Launay in 9th place. If anybody's more than 6 seconds down, then he has a chance to make the final, which would be great for the Portuguese. Lucas Vero now for Switzerland, and they've still got Martin Duguid to come. Lucas, who was competing in the Rio Olympics with his brother Simon in the C2, they finished in the top 10. Now, of course, paddling alone, but in the kayak, and not a bad start. This is still pretty good. Few seconds behind, but it's still respectable, still a chance to qualify here, and this would be good for the Swiss. They've already got Dimitri Marx through. Be quite something if the Swiss team can get all 3 into the final. That would be a little special. Remember, there are 15 places in the men's kayak final, 10 for all the other Olympic categories. And this is pretty decent, just over 100 seconds for his run time, and another clean run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clean runs so far. Quentin Burgi from Felix Oschmalz, and then Peter Kauza, the 1, 2, 3, Lucas Vero for Switzerland, and Mateusz Polarczyk of Poland in 5th place. Boris Neveu. Well, experience is something that this man has. He can be quite fiery. The 2015 European champion in Markkleeberg in Germany. now 34 years of age, and over the years has collected 10 World Championship medals and 7 European medals, 5 golds amongst them, and he's been twice a World Cup race winner, but never better than 3rd in a World Cup here in Prague. But that was last year, so recent memories happy on this course. Time loss is building. France with the current leader. The one man they've lost is Maturin Madore with his 50-second penalty, so this is important for the French that they get another man into the final. Constantly working and moving, and this course takes you backwards and forwards across this water here, some 8 meters across, and comes in there to take 4th place. So Boris Nouveau gives France 2 in the top 5 at the moment. And by the way, Crespo having now qualified for Portugal, and for Spain, with Antoine Launay still waiting in the wings for somebody to make a fatal error, so to speak. But not too many more to go, 5 to go, and there you can see the men who've qualified. That's 10. We need 5 more. So when we go to the second page, you'll see there how tantalizing it is for Antoine and Nico if any one of the last 5 messes up. So we're down to the final 5, and it's going to be Samuel Hernandez for Spain. Gold medal with the Spanish team last season. And there's the penultimate starter, Martin Duguid. So Hernandez for Spain, expecting something good from him. Actually born in France, but represents Spain, and a touch on gate 4 there, so 2-second penalty. Not an auspicious start for him. Go back many years, and he was a junior world champion and 5th in the London Olympic Games. His father, Richard, actually represented France, but son paddles for Spain. So that penalty's knocked him out of his stride, and at the moment leaking time, as you'll see. 5-6 seconds. Yeah, this is a big gap. 10 seconds now. Yeah, 6 seconds up at gate 12, and 10 seconds at gate 12, and that's a deficit in terms of time, which I don't think he can recover from. Now this is interesting, because this time loss is going to let the Portuguese paddler in. Samuel Hernandez, big disappointment, and down in 17th place. So Antoine Launay, the lone Portuguese paddler, even with a 2-second penalty, now qualifies for the 15-boat final. Well done to him. So now Giovanni De Gennaro, a man who in his time has won a World Cup race, 1 per year for the last 4 seasons. De Gennaro, 5. Oof. Now, I don't think was he there on skate 6? Well, he was there on 6, but I'm not sure where he is. That's a 50 on 8. Yeah, he's lost his way, and yeah, the lines weren't right, and ultimately caused that big penalty. So if that penalty stands, that's going to let Nico Testen of Slovenia qualify for the finals.
We're really happy to have joined the panel of the starting place on the semifinal. I'm really excited to be in the finals. I'm looking forward to enjoying this race because this guy is great.
So really disappointing, and the 50 will be checked. But you can see that his running time was 99.59, and that is actually the fastest time, but for the 50-second penalty. So if that 50-second penalty stands, he'll be really kicking himself. Gate 8. And now straight on now to Yuri Prishkovic, whose dad set the course today with Anne Bruxelles, the former French paddler. Prishkovic, the Rio Olympic bronze medalist back in 2016. 27 years of age, and overall World Cup champion in 2015 and again in 2019. And of course on home water here, so plenty of support. This is pretty quick. Up on the clock. Well, it certainly was in the initial stages, 15 and 16. Now, if he's down, he's not down by much. Couple of seconds possible towards the bottom section of the course here. Quentin Bourguier of France being challenged now by Yuri Prishkovic. Really well done, good momentum here. Don't think he's going to be able to make up all of that deficit, but he's going to be pretty close. Top 3. And third it is, behind Felix Oschmautz of Austria, who's in second place, and the deficit to the leader, Quentin Bourguier, 0.7 of a second. Clean run. So Nico Testen has qualified, and now 2 to go. Martin Dugard for Switzerland. Qualified last season at the World Championships to be the Swiss representative in Tokyo. That was, of course, had it been in this season. Lives in Po, represents the Club Geneva. He is the Swiss national champion. And top 15 in the European Championships last season it was. Indeed. Now Switzerland's not in bad shape here. They've got Dimitri Marx, who's qualified, and also Lucas Vero, so they're looking for 3 out of 3, which would be impressive for the Swiss to get those men all in the final. .29, that is respectable. His form has been improving. 2019 was a decent campaign for him. really knows where he's going. You can see he's absolutely certain, clear-minded about what he has to do here. A couple of seconds have drifted away, but it's a very good run. He's going to qualify for sure. And Martin Dugard makes it into fourth place, and all three Swiss have made it into the final. Really well done. What a good day for them so far. But no medals for getting into the final. But nonetheless, that's really good. So the last man to go is the defending champion, Vit Prindis. 31 years of age. He also won the title back in 2014 in Vienna. He's been a runner-up in the World Championships and 5 European team gold medals in his time as well. So Quentin Bourgi, who went really early in the semi-final start, was the 6th paddler out of the gate, and he still leads with 99.64. But that included a 2-second touch. And Vit, not quite as quick at the moment. But will he find something towards the bottom of the course? Still clean at the moment. In fact, he's lost a little bit of time. He's actually lost 1.5 seconds in that middle section. So it doesn't look as if he's going to be the fastest paddler on the course. The honours look as if they're going to go to Quentin Bourgi of France, who was 3rd in last year's European Championships in pose. So that's a very good performance by him. He's won the semi-finals. Vit Prindis goes into 8th place, and we have our 15. And Quentin Bourgi from Felix Oschmalz of Austria, separated by under half a second. Then Jiri Prišković, 0.7 back. Martin Dugard of Switzerland, just over a second. And then Peter Kauza, the best for Slovenia, just under 1.5 seconds. We'll bring you the rankings right now. So those are the first 10. We've got 5 more to go through into the finals. But the only man to break 100 seconds, the winner of the semi-final, and there you have it. Nico Teston, the last to make it. Igor Sviet, who misses out there by, 0.3 of a second. And these gentlemen, I'm afraid, will be spectators with you and me. And you can see Maturin Madore, that 50-second penalty, well, it stood. Other than that, he'd have been into the top 15 for France. So Quentin Bourgi it is, the man who's won this semi-final, and he will be the last man to go as the top 15 go in reverse order for their final. And remember that the finals start at 12:15 Central European time with the women's canoe, where they kneel and work with a single blade, to be followed by the men in their kayaks, where they sit and do their job with a double blade. Very promising for Bourgi. I wonder whether he can get a clean run in that all-important final. That'll be the challenge. So once again, Prague has proved to be a challenging course, difficult, hard. And a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clean runs amongst the first 20 boats. And Yeah, 11 clean runs. So that's it for the moment. Here's the remaining menu of the day. As I said, 12:15 for the women's single canoe final. And then just before 1 o'clock, we get underway with the men's kayak. And then we have the two team competitions starting at 3 o'clock Central European time with the women's canoe and the men's kayak teams as well. So we look forward to your company. Thanks for being with us on this Saturday morning, which is brightening now, temperature increasing up to, well, close to 20 Celsius, so very nice for spectating. The sunshine is out. The spectators have enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the semi-finals, and you'll be with us for the finals, and indeed for the rest of the day with the team competitions as well. Almost time for us to take our leave. But as I say, the competitors now, we're just over an hour to look at the video for those who've qualified to see how they can find improvement for the finals. But thanks to Czech TV for their coverage this morning. It's been a tremendous effort here by Stanislav Ježek and the Czech organisers to put on this slalom, so well done to them. And indeed to everybody here with the Czech authorities to have made this European Championship possible. So, Troja 2020, who will be our first two champions? We'll let you know. Join us at 12:15 for the finals.